Welcome to Mindshifters Radio, and today is Monday, May the 25th, 2026. It's Memorial Day, sending blessings and honor to all those who have served and are serving. I know Memorial Day is for the ones that have passed, but we just hold the space for all the families involved. So Susan, how are you doing today?
Doing good. Lots of processing going on. Oh my gosh. More layers, more depth.
It's continual, huh?
You know what? Just another rotation around the spiral.
And
Yeah, it's
as
been
we
no,
get,
some really deep stuff coming up. So I really got to see my attachment patterning of how, that I'm actually defended. There's a part of me that longing for, connection, deeply longing for, but yet deeply defended against it, protecting against it, but not realizing how much I've actually been defended against it. Huge. That came, the realization of that. And a lot of I want to say the bracing on the whole right hand side around the masculine, that's been with me probably since the beginning. And the awareness of that now, how my body just continually is bracing, and also my defendedness against life, not only the masculine but life itself, and trying to
How many
control life.
generations do you suppose that's been going on?
Oh my God, Michael, the I want to say emotionally trying to manage life, relationships, but life, yeah, and then not feeling in the past that I could trust in life, so I had to manage it all from the
The old
beginning,
control
I would
game.
say. From the beginning, that's and
Yeah.
this and being with it, that this tension in my neck has been so painful. And I was breathing for like 2 hours this morning. I've been breathing regularly and doing worksheets, and I don't know about Jeannie, but what's locked in physiology, because I was physically abused, right, as a child, but also in my marriage, and my life almost ended, but how that got locked in physiology. Yeah, really locked in there, and that bracing. Yeah. So that
All it
came to
takes
my
is crouching
awareness.
against it.
What's that, Michael?
All it takes is crouching against it to literally lock it into bone,
Yeah,
lock it with tissue.
and I said to myself, I'm here now, and we're safe, and I'm willing to stay with you, and willing to have this for the rest of our lives if that's needed, and I'm willing to just be a safe witness as the body processes. So the mind's cleaning, and the body is unwinding, the nervous system, the bracing is softening. So that tells me my mind is coming in alignment. So the body can now let that go. And it's a process. Yeah.
Yeah, I've for years. It was several years ago that I, with a pen and paper, came up with, in 30 generations or 1.6 billion lives. This morning I put it into AI just to see, and it's actually more like 2.17 billion lives. If
Yes.
there were no intermarriage, that's what's in our bloodline in just 30 generations, which is what, 600 years.
Yeah.
And to recognize that you're the first one in the family system to say, okay, I'm going to do it.
Yes.
I look back,
Yeah, there was a
so
lot of
many layers and so many levels in the last 50 years.
huge, huge,
Well,
and
what
the
it takes.
and what I will say, so there's a lot of tears with that abuse piece, and like, so there's a part of me I realize it's still afraid of men, even though I come across confidence and stuff, but my nervous system is in hypervigilance.
Are you
When,
afraid of men, or do you just have fear to heal?
pardon me?
Are you afraid of men, or do you just have fear to heal? Remember, when I put what's happening inside of me on
Yeah,
something outside of me,
yeah,
then I have to dissociate from, which makes it more difficult to access and let go of.
yeah.
My offering would be if you can just acknowledge there's fear, and I can attach it to,
Yeah,
my son, my former, my
Yeah,
anything and everything.
yeah, that would make sense as I'm just being with that peace right now. The fear was within me of which I projected onto man. Yeah. So that I sense I came in with that into this game, this particular template. So whatever was occurring, another that fear, yes, I can feel that. So yeah, thanks for the reframe because it isn't men, it's my fear was being triggered by that
So
exchange.
we commit to being a solid, supportive, reliable space of eternally present love and supporting you and allowing those to come forward. And your willingness is exemplary. It's so often that people go to a certain point and then turn it around. It's like, no, this is about something or somebody else.
Yeah,
And so I acknowledge your willingness to just keep going to, oh, okay, I'll take that. I'll receive the next layer. I'll go for the next.
yeah,
And that's how it opens up. And if not, it doesn't open up. And that's when we get into, crazy conversation about other people while we're in horrific physical pain, but we're sure that it's about
yeah,
something outside of us. The shift
yes,
is enormous. We get
yeah,
John the Baptist, who was the brightest of the bright of those working out of carbon-based memory, but he couldn't heal what needed to be healed in him. Couldn't do it because he didn't go to the next level, that wandering in the desert. So supporting you in becoming the observer, the thinker apart from the thoughts, and allowing that to fully surface in the safety of being supported and moving through every layer.
yeah, layer by layer. And the best part, I used to say always, there's only me and God here. I used to say that, and I laugh now because there's only God here.
Yeah, there you go.
Right? That finally clicked. And the other thing, I cannot truly know God in myself until I know God in the other. So that's really clear. And because I've been looking at my life where I get so many gifting relationships, and then there's one which my other Michael, which is a big, that's my he's my biggest my biggest trigger.
Opportunity.
He's my biggest opportunity. What was a Madness song? Yeah, my most generous trigger.
Right.
So that I get to really go within and see where I'm still holding blockage of truth to the love that I am. So, and then I really see that I am the love that I'm seeking. I really am it. It's, it's
Yeah, the
me and my
transition.
ego's in the way.
Yeah. The mind keeps
Yeah.
saying, I want to, that a couple of weeks ago, you remember I shared where I was working on understanding more about Rukudakucha, and that the Aramaic
Yes.
definition we'd used for decades was she who undoes the effects of earth and teaches us the truth. And then in a still point session, I was shown teaching is just something our minds, that's a word that our mind uses. It's something our mind tricks us into. Oh, we just learn this. They just teach this to us. And it's fake. And knowing is the same kind of fakery. You can't know. The mind says, I want to know. Then I can't know anything. All of this is a database. Any more than AI can know anything.
Yes.
And so my offering would be it's the transition into that trusted breath that delivers the direct experience.
Yes.
She
Yes.
who undoes the effect service and reveals the truth. And when fully trusted, we have the full experience. Then the mind will say, oh, now I know.
Yeah. Yeah.
But
And
knowing,
so in the Course
knowing
of Miracles, they talk about knowing being certainty. I'm assuming that's when you have the direct experience of
direct
it.
experience, I think
Yeah,
that would be,
that's when we truly know. That's the now. And even at times I do get knowings that I just know what that's coming from a higher place, and nothing can take me off that because such a certainty.
accurate
So
information.
yes, that's
Yeah,
coming from a higher place. So thank you so much. And how was your breath work this weekend?
I
I
think
know you.
I think that's the point where we really truly let actuality be the master scribe of what shows up in our 9-bit mind,
Mm-hmm.
instead of letting carbon-based memory be the scribe with all its ideas and concepts and control games, and it's wanting to know and wanting to be taught and wanting to learn and all those things we made up that are all just blocks to Oh, take the breath that gives you the direct experience and let it be so aligned that everything else dissolves.
Yeah, that's exactly true. And this piece, that's been in blockage for now, that it's starting to unfurl. In staying with it. It's not as, I'm sure, I know all the things you guys, you and Jeannie, have been through, that it felt hard yesterday. Like, it was so intense yesterday. I'm like, oh my gosh, I felt like I'm not going to get through this. But then I said to myself, self, you've been through everything you've been through already. And on the other side of this is your liberation. So, and then I just said, I'm willing, whatever it takes, I'm willing.
And on a physiological level, remember that mobility is key, that when the antenna moves, that's the time when it can go into its next level of self-organization, next level of receiving
Yes.
what it is that needs to be unloosed. And right now, the main physiological holding point, I had a still point session Saturday morning. I shared this with a breathing group, but I did a still point session, and in the still point, I had this kind of dream reverie, and it was trauma city over food. People were just slaughtering each other just for a mouthful of bread in that dream space. And as I softened and breathed into it, we talk about paying attention to the pulses. All of a sudden, I feel this pulse around my brain stem, and I realize that's where the energy of this fear of violence was in my physiology. It was literally in my brain stem. And as I breathe, the brain stem is like a circle around the base of my brain, just pulsed and pulsed and pulsed and pulsed until lifted.
Wow.
And so that's, with your neck, what are the conditions? What is the alignment? On a subtle level, the neck, or that brainstem for me in that experience, I realized ties in throughout the whole physiology. Remember, we were given that poem when we were kids, the knee bone's connected to the thigh bone.
Mm-hmm.
And wherever we're in resistance, wherever we hold, that impacts everything.
Yeah.
And the piece of work that opened that for me eventually is a piece of work that I started doing about 40 years ago in South Florida. I had a private practice there, breathing people, and I had an orthodontist who was a client, and we became very close friends, and then we became each other's students. And he led me into, that's where some of the understanding of how to get that mobility happening so that the antenna comes into alignment, the whole bony structure, and starts to move. And so I invite you to notice if the strain that's there in your neck, if it reflects anywhere else in your physiology. And, the release of your big toe might be the thing that opens the strain in your neck to finally be finished. How do those things get connected? That's why, over and over I say you're never going to figure it out, because it might be 10 generations ago that somebody, got their foot caught in a machine and went all the way up through, and there's a lock, and there's the energy that's been passed on genetically.
Yes.
And
yeah, and it is the right side. It's my whole coming up, actually, the inside of my foot, all the way up the inside of my leg, my knee, coming all the way up to my hip, and then the right side. So that whole the bracing on that side is what's overall contributing to this piece. And it's definitely moving, and it's like you said, the pulsing. I just am observing a lot of tears sometimes when the pain. Even though I'm experiencing as a sensation, just breathing into it, yeah, you can tears arise, deep
the body
sorrow
says, I
and
have to
grief.
let go of this.
Yeah, and just allowing it and being present with it and knowing whatever it takes. That's what I just sit there, breathe into it, whatever it takes. That's what I keep saying. And asking, of course, for Ruka's support in that.
And using that example, the thing that may facilitate final opening of the neck might be the release that happens in your big toe.
Yeah.
Literally,
Yeah.
that might be the energetic connection. You know, something that, again, could have happened generations ago and has impacted everybody in our bloodline since it happened.
Yes.
And that's why the mobility and the alignment of the whole system becomes a key. And there, physiologically, one of the things that's been recognized, for instance, if somebody's been injured in a certain way and their antenna, their body went into a certain distorted shape during that injury, in that shape, in that structure, they take on that assault energy. You know, something like a fall doesn't mean an intentional assault, but the energy then, and then they stand back up and go out of that alignment that allowed the energy to move into the structure. And it's not until they go back to that alignment that the antenna is able to release that energy.
Yeah.
And so the release can be facilitated from anywhere. And of course, engaging in that gentle self-care that keeps the base mobility of the antenna at its sweet spot and allows whatever those energetic patterns are, however deeply they go, right down to our genetic toes to be released. And, you know, all the right conditions that cause that to happen include breath, willingness, responsibility, vitality, mobility, leading to the alignment, freedom from resistance that facilitates the forgiveness, and bingo, that generational strain is released.
Mm-hmm. Thank
And
you.
it's just a piece in the puzzle. So
Another layer.
holding the space for your guidance and your breath, allowing the breath to teach you exactly what you need to do. Like, you know, pardon me, using old language, allowing the breath to reveal to you. Revelation, living in revelation.
Yeah, what is what I get to do and what's revealed. Yeah, being with that. Yeah, even what you said, that feels, even you said the big toe, because I can feel it's all the way down. Whatever that is, I'm just going to trust in that. So thanks so much, Michael.
Honored, delighted, appreciate your questioning. Tis a good thing. Your questioning and your willingness to receive feedback is awesome.
Thank you. I appreciate that.
And breathing with you, breathing with everyone. Setting and holding to Rakhma. Allowing the breath to fully enliven, bring in that natural intelligence and allowing it to break down any resistance to receiving that level of perfect love. So holding the space for every one of us to step into that, and each time we step into it, that we're able to step into it a little deeper. And in stepping into it a little deeper, you know, one of the challenges is that we step into it, we get it, and it's like, wow, this is so awesome. And then we step back into the environment that resonates other things, and all of a sudden it disappears. It's like, what happened? Well, next layer, next level. So really just becoming a student of the breath that tells you each step, each piece of the puzzle, to bring that home for each and every one of us. And of course, what's going to take you there is going to be different from what takes me there. The general principles will be the same, but what's going to have to be felt, experienced, dealt with, where's it going to be in physiology? It was just, for me, it was Saturday morning that I had that awareness of the pulsing in my brainstem, and it was just like a whole general body physiological release, but it all came through that one, like I was so aware. And that's one of the reasons why, whatever tool you're using, we invite everybody to really pay attention to and receive the pulses. When we're out of alignment, there's a restriction of the flow of energy. When we step into alignment, even if it's for a second, I cancel a goal, an old painful reality collapses, and for an instant, I'm free of it. And to breathe into that, to allow the breath to instruct us is such a key. And to step deeper and deeper into that fully connected, fully aligned state is a process that everybody has to do for themselves. And of course, appreciation for everybody being here, because we all get by with a little help from our friends.
Susan
Anyone else?
B., how is Tim's sister?
You know, it's been 2 days and we've had no news, which is probably good. She's this side of the veil and she's probably just trying to heal. She was extremely weak. Thanks for asking. We haven't heard anything. She has 3 sons and they're terrible about staying in touch. I've offered my services as a family grapevine instigator because I have emails in a group list for the whole family. It's so easy to do now with email. So we're just keeping her in our prayers for whatever needs to happen for her.
Joining you in holding that space.
Thanks.
Anyone else? Anything exciting to share?
Welcome, Sally and Cammie.
Yes, how are you ladies doing? We haven't heard your voices in a while.
Hi, everyone. I'm
Hey.
doing really good.
Good.
You sound awesome. You sound bright and rocking.
As I'm stretching from sitting here. I don't know. I've been sleeping a lot and it seems to be what I need at this point. So, I mean, not a lot, but more than 8 hours, which is a lot for me. Like, yeah. And
Definitely when you're in process, rest is in order.
right.
That's probably the biggest piece missing in this culture, because people are so driven just when they're in a healing process to give themselves a space for self-care and to go through it. It's a challenge.
And I think a lot of it has to do with being back home and all the things that happened in this house last year. It was crazy with all of the stuff that was going on, and it's just been a lot to come home and just memories popping forth and just feeling it and letting it go.
Working through the next layer. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. So I can't wait to see what's next. This
Well,
is and maybe I am actually getting good at having feelings surface and experiencing them as sensations and breathing and canceling goals, breathing through it. And I it's been days since I've been in fight or flight, which is where I've spent the last year and a half, pretty much.
Mm.
So yeah, I kind of feel like myself again. It's very cool. Sorry, I cut you off. You were going to say something.
No, I'm just holding the space. That's awesome. I acknowledge your commitment, your willingness. When you left the last intensive, the space was pretty intense, and to just keep putting one foot in front of the other and move through it's pretty awesome.
Yeah. There was a big change the last month. I was in Mexico, and then when I got home, uh, stress was up big time, and I didn't know if I was gonna be able to get through it. It was so intense. Um, and here I am, I don't know, 20 something days later. Um, and it's actually been, so I guess I was only home for a couple weeks and just, it finally just released. So it's good to be
Fruit of
home.
your work.
Yeah. Yeah.
Awesome. Nice work. Congratulations. Anything we can support you with at the moment? Anything in
I
particular on your mind?
I don't know what it would be. I've just been slacking on the show, and my commitment this morning is to get back into listening every day and um starting some kind of exercise routine, which has always been difficult for me. And you know, the more I read, the more I realize how important it is
Got to
to
move the system.
keep this body moving
Yeah.
instead of, sitting around and only doing the minimum to keep things going, which is where I was on, because I was just doing so many worksheets and so much processing that I stopped moving. So
Right.
yeah, so anyway, it's a really good space to be.
Fabulous.
Yep.
Congratulations. The world celebrates.
Thank you.
I will send you a link. Last weekend I did a Tai Chi class, and it was good in terms of mobility and ease of mobility. And it really, what I experienced is that it's a strong, a powerful complement to the energy field work, where the energy field work is coming from the outside, the breath is moving inside, moving the body in ways that have been discovered to help to mobilize and align the antenna is important.
Mm.
And I'll send you a link. I don't have it right now, but and tomorrow we'll put it on the show if anybody else is interested. But this group has what they call a 45-day challenge, and they do a video um, each day for 45 days, and it costs $9 or something. So it's like, so you can look at that system and see how it works for you. It's quite gentle and it's pretty powerful.
Interesting, because I've been thinking about taking a drive out to Bristol uh to get another
Ready to go to the next level?
mhm. Yeah, been thinking about it.
Well,
Just
we'll
the
hold the
last
space.
just the last few days it kind of popped in my mind. So
Time for the next layer.
yeah, but I'm kind of enjoying the break. I ain't gonna lie.
Yeah. You probably don't want to break anything, but um, have, have you been regularly viewing that video that we did during your last quantum still point session?
Oh, you mean the first group of them?
Yeah,
We didn't we didn't
the video.
videotape the.
No, but remember, I did a video of your interaction with your dad and the
Yeah.
level of joy that came into it.
Mm-hmm. 'Cause, yeah. Mm-hmm. 'Cause, yeah. Mm-hmm. 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 I see that video a little different than you do.
Oh, okay.
And so I don't watch it very often. I remember the joy. I Okay, maybe I should be watching it. Um, I don't know. I've been thinking about calling my dad again too.
Mm,
Not my dad, but my genetic father.
right. Yep.
Um, just because I kind of feel
Breathe.
like I
Notice what's happening with your breath as you think about it. You want to process this with breath
yeah,
present.
right. Um, I think, and I don't know if this is wanting to take. I guess this is wanting to take care of him. Um, you know,
Yeah, there's nothing wrong with that.
I talked to him that night. I don't know, 4 or 5 years ago for the first time in my life, and I was drunk, and I he told me when I got off the phone, that I could call him anytime, and I've not called him back. I think mostly out of embarrassment. Um, and so I've been thinking about just calling him, even if it's just one conversation sober, you know.
My offering would be that it might be an opportunity to do some responsibility communication, do it in writing first, some responsibility communication, and perhaps as part of that, sharing some of what you experienced in that space with him when we were doing the quantum.
Doing quantum.
And that might just open a different kind of space. I do that in writing first and just see,
Hmm.
check it out. Is it appropriate to do or isn't it? But or
Right.
if you'd like, I'd be happy to take a look at it and give you any feedback on it.
Yeah, that's an interesting thought. Um, I'll definitely um check in with myself about that.
Cool. Cool. Well, we're here to hold the space and be of support.
Thanks.
All
I
right.
appreciate it.
Okay. Take care.
Appreciate all of you guys.
All right. Accepted and returned. And Terry's joined us. Terry's been really busy the last couple of months, and so it's good to see you on the show, Terry.
Hey,
How are you
buddy.
doing? What's
Yeah,
happening?
yeah. Oh, so much is happening with all the shift in my work duties. It's been all encompassing, and it hasn't made a space that I've been able to work into to get back on the radio show. So I'm glad that you called, that I reached out, to you. I wasn't even thinking about the show. That's what happens when you get out of a routine or habits. It's like, oh, you got this, that, and all firing off all the time. So then you sent me the message back. I was like, oh, yeah, it's show date, showtime.
Yeah,
So I had been working with my all time favorite diagram ever is the mind diagram. And
mind goal management.
and the one with that shows the brain and the filters and the mind diagram. You know what I'm talking about?
Yeah, yeah. I'm
Yeah.
looking at the text you
Oh,
sent
yeah.
me.
Okay. And so that diagram, you got a lot of different ones. So let's make sure we're on the right page. That one, when the first time I laid eyes on it, something resonated really deep in me. I didn't have a clue what it really meant, but it, there was all these different processions of understanding at different levels. As I grew in my ability to understand. As it takes effort and work, at least it has for me, to develop the brain cells to understand these tools. And it's been going on, as you know, for literally for decades. And each time that I get a little deeper level of understanding, it's so beautiful. So I wrote that little piece in connection to my analysis of the diagram in relation to my current, understandings or attempts at understandings, and wanted to send it to you so you could read it over and uh, uh, as my mentor and uh, guide into this journey. And you're further along the path, by all means, that you could give me the feedback that I always get from you, and appreciate very much. So for the little fine tweaks and all, like for instance, I was struggling with Cuba again, not Rakhma so much this time,
Right.
but Cuba. And so I said, okay, let's see what what Google has to say. And it came up as agape, which is like,
No, good.
so they mistranslated, they moved that little
Yep.
word into
It's all great to me.
yeah, divine love, agape. And I was like, okay, well, let's see, we'll kind of type that in there and wear that for a little bit. But you're going to enjoy that little video I sent you. That's me dancing in the rain a few days ago, about 2 or 3 days ago. That's the first time I've been pain free in over 6.5 years. I experienced 3 hours of pain freeness during the day. I think I don't remember exactly what day it was. All the days with the shifts changing and everything. It's difficult for me to keep up with what day it is, honestly. So that was about 3 or 4 days ago, whenever that was, Thursday or something like that, when we had our first rain in a long time, and I just went out and danced in the rain, literally, and it reminded me of. It was a rainstorm down in Florida, and my two kids were down playing in the mud puddle, and I stripped down to my underwear and ran down there and just rolled in the mud puddle with them in the rain. And they just laughed and laughed and laughed. They were about 4 and 7, and they never ever forgot that little event. So, I was celebrating the joy of 3 hours. And for those who don't know, it's about a little over 6.5 years ago. I fell. It pretty much killed me. They flew me in a helicopter to the trauma center down in Charlotte, which was like 2 hours, 3 hours away. And then, they put me on morphine and all that good stuff. And then as I came out of that, they moved me over to the Oxycontin and oxycodone, which is like a synthetic morphine heroin mixture cocktail, whatever. Which probably did more to save my life than anything else, because the medical authorities really couldn't do anything with what a mess my body was in. They offered a surgery that I turned down, because once I parroted it back to the surgeon, I never saw him again. Is this really a good idea? He just kind of said, I'll get back to you, and he left the room. But anyway, so then I developed a dependence on it unknowingly. And so for the last year and a half, I've been weaning myself off of it. Okay. And uh, that's a whole process within itself. And I had tapered
Right.
down, tapered down, tapered down, tapered down, tapered down until I was doing like 1/4 of a small little pill, when I would need it. And then finally, I said, this is it. I'm done, you know. And even at that level, after tapering for a year and a half to nearly nothing, the withdrawals and the symptoms that came on were not very, very nice. I didn't need hospitalization or anything, but there was still a lot of stuff. But one of the things that was dramatic was the muscle pain and the suppressed when we were just hearing. Was that Carrie that was talking about the pain and who was the speaker just before?
Cammy.
Yeah, Cammy. And
Yep.
I was like, oh, I can't wait to share this, because what I did was I couldn't sleep. I was couldn't eat correctly. I mean, everything just went pretty much the way it does when you withdraw from that stuff. Only it was at a little milder level, and I didn't need hospitalization or detox or anything. I just toughed it out. But I couldn't sleep for more than an hour and a half or two, and I really hadn't slept more than 4 or 5 hours for the last 6.5 years anyway, till it was time for another round of medication, And
Right.
now everything came alive at an acute level. Okay. So in the process of preparing myself for the final stages of the tapering off, I started doing yoga again. And it was helping. And at first I couldn't even, I was trying to do the plank was my final exercise where you raise yourself up on your forearms. And I could hold it to a count of 5, and now I'm up to a count of 50. But that took about a month. And what happened was after waking up at 1 o'clock, 2 o'clock in the morning, doing an hour of stretching and all the yogas, the pain would dissipate and I could go back to sleep. And then it was, start over again. So the exercise, and they talk about it a little bit in the aftercare, but not very much really. They just send you to a pain management clinic. And their main
Right.
thing is just to keep track and make sure you're not abusing the pills and other stuff. That's what their whole job is. There's not a lot of support therapy there, to be honest with you. And it's backing up just a minute. I know I'm giving you a lot here, but about a month ago, I decided I couldn't take it anymore with this pain that was going on my back, and I reached out to my primary care and said, "Well, is chiropractic covered?" And they sent me to one, and I've been to a dozen or so chiropractors over the years, and 2 or 3 of them were really good. The other one's not so good. Okay, so this was a not so good one, which inspired me to push forward with my own chiropractic Tai Chi yoga manipulations, what you were just referring to. So I'll be interested to hear a little bit more about your Tai Chi. And that in itself was doing more benefit for me than the little chiropractic visit. And initially, there was one doctor, and she was very considerate, kind, had a great bedside manner, spent time with me and all. That lasted about 2 visits, and then the next visit, you were in the mill. I don't know if you've experienced that, where there's like 10 patients, they run you up in all the rooms and they pop you with this little thing, bam, 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 and get you out. And it was a different doctor, and it was a totally different experience, which was it didn't do it for me. You know what I'm saying? So anyway,
Right.
that's what's been going on. Michael, how you been?
Hmm. We're rocking along, and I put the link to your video if anybody wants to see you dancing in the rain, Terry.
Okay.
It's in the chat. So
In
if
the
anybody wants
chat.
to hit that
Okay.
button,
Yeah. It's not pretty, but it's pretty funny and it's happy.
I don't see
and
it
it
in
looks
there,
like
Michael.
no. Well, I'm in the chat now, and click the button. Is it showing up on your screen?
No.
Hmm. Well, it's playing on mine. I don't know if maybe somehow there are two. Um, hmm. There are two different Zooms open. It doesn't appear
Can
to
you do
be.
share screen?
Well, let me see.
Tammy says it's not there either.
So I'm looking at it. Let me see if I can send this thing there. Hmm.
Terry just put a link in.
See
Okay.
if that one works.
Howling at the moon, Terry. It's getting pretty wild here. You got to be careful. The neighbors don't call
Yeah, I wouldn't have cared.
Can anyone else open the link? I can't seem to, it doesn't allow me to open it. It's just it's not, it doesn't identify as a link.
Well, anyway, it's Terry standing out in the rain, just
Yeah.
dancing around, celebrating being pain free. That's pretty awesome,
Yeah,
Terry. Congratulations.
yeah.
The work you've
Yeah.
done. It's
Yeah,
amazing.
I can't get it to open either.
Yeah, it's not open back after I put it in anyway. So
Oh, well.
we'll let that go for now. More will be revealed later.
And you're asking how we're doing. We're rocking along. Planted
Yeah.
lettuce yesterday, got babies today, and getting lots of rain here, which is nice. It's a gift. And appreciating being alive and being able to breathe.
Yes. Yeah.
Any other thoughts for you? Anything else to share? I looked at the copy that you sent me of the
Mind diagram dialogue.
mind goal or the goals, and can't quite read your writing.
Oh
if you
no,
can-
there should be a text to what came behind it of it.
Oh,
Those are
okay.
just little sub notes. There's another whole piece to it. Maybe I didn't send that. Yeah, it was right before the diagram. Let's see if I can.
So, Jeannie, do you have a link to the mind goal management?
There, that's in the chat.
The
As far as-
schematics of the mind, I just put the
Yeah,
link.
the
Yeah.
schematic of the mind. Exactly.
Great.
I put the link in there.
That's my,
So you
my
wanna-
favorite one. And then there's my verbiage after that in the chat.
Do you want to go ahead and read it to us and
Yeah,
ask?
the mind
what you think?
diagram interpretation. First, I always love to start everything with the all essential, important statement for me. I let go of my need to be right. Check that box every time.
I'm with you.
I bring the being of Christ, Buddha, Krishna into my mind energy through the filter of Rakhma, filter gateway over my frontal lobe, parentheses, with the intention of expressing God as I am. I choose this reality that God loves and cares for me and has given me all good things. That was first introduced me in the little book, The Way Out by Joseph Benner. I put him a little credit in there. And open my perception with Khooba, and that's the divine love, Greek agape note, igniting and maintaining the flame of eternal being called perfect love. Amen. So that was my little walkthrough of the diagram and how it was interwoven with some of the understandings that I've come to over the years.
I'd say, in terms of our human language, right on.
Mhm.
And that Rakhma and Khooba, the word Khooba in no way relates to the Greek agape.
That's what I was fishing for from you, too.
Yeah.
It was like some depth on that.
Yeah. When you realize that Rakhma and Khooba are filters, hostility and fear are filters, each one allows a certain frequency to pass. Like, for instance, let's say we've got a house that's got glass walls on it and it's hot and the sun is beating through. It's passing through infrared light, which heats up the room. So we put a filter, and the filter blocks the infrared. I can still see out the window, but the heat level drops down because I block the infrared frequencies. So Rakhma and Khooba are the mechanism by which we block the frequencies of negativity and destructive frequencies and allow only the direct experience of present love in physiology. And the two words, one represent, and they're interrelated, interconnected filters. One of them over the frontal lobes of the brain where intentions are stored. Important because intentions are the raw material of goals. So once I've got Rakhma set, then automatically Khooba is going to come into play because my goals are all tied to love. And therefore, that's what's going to resonate in my perceptual mind. And that's going to bring into play Khooba, which is over a different part of the brain where perception is stored. And that filter allows to pass only frequencies based in love, the same way, frequencies of perception based in love, the same way that Rakhma allows only frequencies of intentions. And the two were called perfect love. That's, perfect. When they said perfect love casts out fear, that no matter what the circumstance is, the mind can't produce a fear-based reality if Rakhma and Khooba are active. Just those frequencies are blocked.
That's
And
excellent.
so,
And I just remembered one other piece is that I used the wake up sheet in conjunction with this. And on the wake up sheet, Rakhma is defined as a filter gateway over the frontal lobe that opens a space for
right,
love to enter. And then we have Ruka the Kucha, but I could not find a reference on the wake up sheet to Kuba itself individually.
right. It is not, the primary is Rakhma and they're interrelated. When you set Rakhma, Khooba kicks in. If you lose
Okay.
Khooba,
Yeah.
then Rakhma is going to tend to collapse too. And
Okay.
the focus on is on the primary filter. In other places in the work, we talk about, consciously, purposely setting Rakhma and Khooba. But in order to keep the worksheet as trim as possible with all the ideas that I want to get in there, I leave it at Rakhma. And when Rakhma is set and I'm breathing, Khooba is going to be active as well.
Well, that's very good. That's awesome. I'm gonna want to hear this again because on the schematic now, the filters over the perception is coming through Cuba, and the filter over intention it appears is going through Rakhma. So I was
Right.
separating those. That okay, first you got to have an intention that's filtered through Rakhma, then it's
That's the
allowed to
starting point.
move through the structure and then pass through Cuba if so allowed for your perception. Does that make sense?
Right. Yes. Yeah.
Yeah.
When one is active, the other is active, and the primary is wrong. When they said to
Oh,
Yeshua,
yes,
what's most
yes.
important in the law? He didn't say love your neighbor. He didn't say love God. He said, when you think of the creator or neighbor, keep Rakhma active, primary filter. When that one's active, Kuba's going to tend to be active.
Yes, see, I
If
was trying to break it down, and I can't have hostility active on my attentions and have Cuba active on my perception.
that's right,
Yes,
can't happen.
okay, yeah, that's
And
why I was not clicking it.
yeah, and here's where the practice comes in of stepping back and becoming the thinker apart from the thought, the feeler apart from the feelings, the actor apart from the actions, is that if I'm rocking along, Rakhma and Kuba are set, and somebody shows up that resonates an old painful reality that's I've covered up with rage. When that rage becomes active, Kuba's going to tend to collapse. Rockman's going to tend to collapse. And that's where I want to be vigilant and go back and reset that because
Oh,
that's how I maintain my human life.
yes,
So when he says, first order of business is hold rock before the creator for neighbor, and by so doing, maintain your human life, not have love for your neighbor as yourself, as the Greeks would interpret it.
yeah, yeah. I'm laughing because it's so funny. I love when this stuff comes together like that. It's just so good. Thank you, Michael.
Yeah, well, I'm glad you asked the question. It's perfect.
Yeah, yeah. In that process, it's just so beautiful. And then the fact that it like blows me away that I could see that, oh, wait a minute. You can't have, fear in Cuba. You can't have hostility in Cuba. It's Rakhma
Yep.
is this how do you say it, the primary filter or
Yep.
primary?
You can't have one without the other.
Can't have one without the other. Yeah.
Can I just add something, Michael?
Please.
So interesting perfect that you said that's a reminder for me. And then in the Course in Miracles, they talk about the Holy Spirit, which is Ruka, which is the gateway, a channel between the lower mind and the higher mind. And then when Rakhma is active and we're holding the intention with love, and then Khooba is active in the back of the brain, the intention of Rakhma and the perception of Khooba is open. That's when you're perceiving accurately, which allows the
Right.
Holy Spirit, that I want to say the gateway is open between the lower mind and the higher mind. And when that happens, the other revelation that the Holy Spirit does is it's allowing for God to come in and give the revelation through a purified structure. That all seems, it's all tying in.
Yeah. The only thing I would offer to change in that is
Yeah.
that we need to get out of the Greek idea of there being such a thing as a Holy
Yeah.
Spirit,
Yeah,
and recognize that the gateway between the upper and the lower,
is breath.
the corrector, the intelligence, the presence of the creator, the presence of love, is all carried on the breath.
Yes. And when we're constricting breath through negative mind, or our restricted mind energy, which we call Satan, then the lower mind and the higher mind cannot be communicating because it's been constricted. And when we can just hold the breath, and what you said to Terry, when triggers are up, even though we're holding Rakhma open and Khooba open, yet old mind energy might be coming forth to stay with the breath. So the gateway is open between the higher and the lower mind, and the revelations can be revealed.
Right. And the old trauma-based energies dissolve in the presence of that breath. There's where that's the act of forgiving. When they talk about only God can forgive, we can't forgive. That's what they're talking about. It is the breath of the creator that removes the energy. You and I don't know how to put a piece of energy in or out of our bodies. We don't have a clue, but we do have charge over whether or not the breath is moving in us, and we're willing to turn it over. So.
And then when you're saying the Holy Spirit reveals, right, or she reveals the truth, and then also, because when I in those spaces, revelations definitely come in, get a wider perspective. So thanks for that, Terry.
Yeah.
For that information that helped me to land it even more deeply. I haven't seen that diagram in a while. And thanks for your explanation too.
Good to see you, Sue.
Perfect.
Nice to see you too.
Oh, I love it. I love it. Well, Terry, I'm delighted that you were available to join us today and that you brought that forward. That's
it's right on time, right on track.
Yeah. And I love the last line of what you wrote there. The flame of igniting and maintaining the flame of eternal love.
That is sweet, isn't it? Yeah.
Right on.
So now there's Susan brought up something that I've been working on too, and will continue to, is this concept of the higher and lower mind, and I've really been looking at that, and how that's. I don't even know how to put it into words yet. I'm still kind of playing with it. Because there's the mind, which is the allness, and then the higher and lower thing. I don't know. But thanks. That's got me thinking on that a little bit. Well, maybe we'll come back around to that later.
Yeah, the higher mind to me is Christ mind. That's the Christ mind within, and then the lower mind is the egoic mind. Mm-hmm. And when you're holding the space of pure love, you can only perceive, and holding the intention, that is what gets. That's what the story is. That's what gets shown, and that's where creation happens. But most of us are operating from the lower mind, which is our ego mind, the non-being mind. That's how I see it anyway.
Mm-hmm. I'd say right on. Right on. Cool. Well, I'm going to do one more thing. Okay. You paste it in. Cool. So anybody wants a copy of what Terry wrote, it's in the chat. And what he just read to us and shared with us, we talked through. And also the schematic. There's a link there that Jeannie put in. So Cool.
Thank you,
And Terry
Jamie.
dancing in the rain.
Yeah.
Awesome. All right. Well, thank you everybody for joining us. We appreciate you deeply.
Thank
Joining you
you.
in grieving. All right. Take care. Blessings. Lots of love. Bye bye.